One. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Delusions of Grandeur. I am one of your hosts, but Boris, I want to welcome you back to the show. Thank you for coming on with me and me every week. It's been just spoot-out-tastic.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's always been kind of a hoot to have you on.
Thank you. Hoot.
So lately, ladies and gentlemen, we've been delving into films that have to do with a devilish nature, and we decided to go on about 1967's Bedazzled last week, but I figured we'd go on about Harold Ramis's directed film from 2000 called Bedazzled, of the same name, and it is a remake, and it's definitely different.
Oh yeah.
Where it is based on the Peter Cook and Dudley Moore adaptation of the Faust retelling of a story. And let me just see if I can figure out what IMDb says about the film. Let's see. Pull it up here. I pulled up Wikipedia, but I did not pull up the IMDb page. Silly me. But hopeless dweeb Elliot Richards is granted 7 wishes by the devil to snare Allison, the girl of his dreams, in exchange for his soul. And the film stars Brendan Fraser, Elizabeth Hurley, and Frances O'Connor. So, first impressions of this film, Boris, was this a first-time watch for you? And what did you think of it?
Oh, I loved it. Well, earlier today was the first time, and now with you once more, as we usually do. And oh man, I really loved this one. Maybe I would have done the ending a bit different, but still, you know what I really loved about it, don't you?
I think you loved the that the devil was in fact a female.
Oh yeah, and what a female!
So, gone is the short order cook, which was Dudley Moore's character in the 1967 version of this film, and in with the computer technology telemarketer of like a speaker company of some sort, and it's set in San Francisco. And the thing is, we don't realize it because we're just thinking that those are words in the very beginning, but it just so happens that the devil is in fact running a computer program, and she's searching for souls, and she happens across Elliot Richards, who is in fact played by Brendan Fraser. My first impression of this film is I did not realize at the time, the first time that I watched this, like many years ago, probably when it first came to VHS, because I believe I had it on VHS first, and I don't have it on DVD, believe it or not. I never actually graded. I need to make sure that's vastly fixed, because I actually now that I've seen this a second time, because It's been so long since I've seen it. I forgot how funny this film was. Especially like in the damn middle of the thing when he's almost like Scottie Pippen or Larry Bird or something like that. That almost kind of like a white version of Dennis Rodman. But in any case, yeah. I enjoyed the first film, but I enjoyed this one just as much. And we have some interesting players here in the background. We got Orlando Jones, which he was a character that appeared throughout some of the early 2000s films like Evolution, the remake of The Time Machine. And films of that nature. And he's normally kind of a funny guy, and here he's just kind of a dick. But I wasn't sure what to think of Brendan Fraser. Brendan Fraser often reminded me of like how wacky Jim Carrey could get, and that was his kind of comedic character. He had his own like things that he was funny at, and there were bits and pieces of it that reminded me of George of the Jungle a bit, but that's okay. I mean, it was around that time period, you know.
Yeah.
What did you think about Elliot Richards as a character?
Well, I thought he was an okay character, actually. I found him somewhat relatable, especially at the beginning when you see when he just acts natural and people who are supposed to be his friends actually turn out to be annoyed by him and they won't tell him honestly how they feel, which is why I'm glad that they were portrayed as assholes later on, because I know what that's like.
So do I, unfortunately. I mean, growing up having a disability myself, it was hard for me to have friends who would be understanding and be able to be that supportive of my life. In fact, most of my friends these days are online, but that's okay.
Same here. Well, I do have some real life friends as well, but recently I haven't seen them very often because of COVID and so on. But
yeah, same here. COVID has pretty much put a lot of people's lives on hold at the moment, and it's like whatever. But we deal. But Elliot Richards is kind of a different character here because in the original 1967 version, he had zero friends. He had zero people to talk to. At least these people, he could just look like he was talking to them, but they were in fact ignoring him. They treated him like crap. In fact, they even tried to ditch him. So,
yes,
which isn't exactly funny, but Elliot Richards is a kind of a geek. He's kind of a weirdo, at least at first. And I say that nicely because if anyone's in your face like he was, I guarantee you, I might have been treating maybe him a bit similar, maybe not just as cruel. I really don't know. I mean, I would like to think that maybe I would try to be friends with that particular kind of introvert. But in the same respect, depending on how annoying they can be sometimes. Getting to know them a little bit better is just a different way of being friends with them. So,
Uh, well, I think I actually could be friends with someone like him because if there is one thing I value in human interaction, it's honesty. I really like when someone is honest and straightforward, and when they just openly say what they think when I'm not supposed to read their minds and figure out what they think.
so he was pretty much an open book, basically. I mean,
Mm,
he had his emotions all on his face. He got honestly. Was he really weird to those people at work?
yeah, they did think he was weird, but honestly, I think if the whole world was like him rather than like them, I think if everyone was just honest with everyone about how they feel and everything, if there wasn't that hypocrisy, like what the way they treated him, like making up excuses instead of just being honest with him. If everyone was just honest and straightforward with each other, I think that would make the world much less stressful and much more productive.
I would like to think so. But in any case, uh, Elliot Richards ultimately seems to alienate himself with his own personality, and we realize that when he actually does accidentally show up uninvited to a after gathering small drinking party that his coworkers apparently wanted to have without him. Um, they realize that he has what is it, affections towards a coworker that I guess he's been working with for the last 4 years, and I guess she hasn't really noticed him, but he's noticed her. What do you think about this particular person, Allison? To,
Well, just like Margaret in the previous movie, I guess she doesn't really have a very well developed personality as a character because her personality changes throughout the movie according to Elliot's wishes. I guess there isn't much I could say regarding that.
well, yeah, and he ultimately basically almost kind of like dares himself to go up to the bar and actually like talk to her. And when he does, it's kind of awkward. And he's like, "Yeah, I saw you once. You were holding an umbrella, and you said I looked wet." And it was kind of a moment, and that made it really awkward and weird because he was talking about that one moment, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna head towards the door." And he really feels bad for himself, so he ends up, like, I think, walking into a church and praying to God to help him out and help him out on his luck. And he just, I think what he did, actually, it wasn't the church. He just prayed to himself that, or to God, that he wished that Allison was in his life somehow. And I guess a pool ball ended up rolling towards him, and that is when the devil appeared. What did you think of the devil?
Oh, like I said, I loved her. I mean, these kind of sexy female devil characters were the original reason why I got interested in the whole angel, demon, Satan thing in fiction and so on. So yeah, I really liked her character a lot. She is by far my favorite character in this movie. The best looking and with quite intriguing personality and sexy outfits, sexy accent, and uh, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, when she first appeared, I thought since I knew the movie was going a bit different from the original, I first thought she would be this movie's equivalent of the last character from the original. But when it turned out that they actually made the devil himself a woman in this version, I was like, "What?" and I yeah, and I immediately grew fond of that movie as soon as I realized that.
Oh yeah, Elizabeth Hurley. She's definitely sexy, and she's British. So I love how sexy the British sounding females sound, and she is just spot on to me with the humor. And she was definitely a little wicked, a little sexy, and she always had a different thing to wear in every scene. And so I think she really brought everything to the screen that she needed to. And she was made for that this particular role. I mean, it was definitely different making the devil a female. I don't think it had been done before as far as devils go. I don't remember any of the films that we've watched so far having a female as the devil. I mean, we've had females be the devil's servants and be kind of a siren or messenger for the devil, but they have not been the devil incarnate.
What about John Bowker's The Seekers?
She's more of a demon, like a demoness, like maybe a lead demon. I don't know.
Yeah,
She's similar.
yeah. In my interpretation, you know how much I analyze The Seekers. Everyone who watches us must know that by now. When I analyzed it, I figured out that she was a messenger for the devil. But when I, at one point, made contact to John Bowker, he actually said that he imagined her as a human-like incarnation of the devil himself, which I didn't quite get that impression from the movie, but that's what the man said. So.
So ultimately, I guess he doesn't believe that this sexy looking female is the devil. So she's got to basically try to convince him that she is, in fact, the devil incarnate. So the first thing that he wishes for, well, he doesn't realize that it was a wish of any kind, was a McDonald's, what is it, Big Mac and fries.
Yeah.
So she takes him down to the McDonald's, has him order a Big Mac and fries, and she basically makes him pay for it because, well, McDonald's Big Mac and fries are not free. So,
Yeah, and she
Uh,
forgot her purse in the underworld, or
well,
so she said.
yeah. And he's basically, well, I could have done that myself, and shit, and um, basically, instead of trying to convince him, she takes him in a speedy car down to a club in Oakland, um, where she takes him to an office where she tells him about a business deal that she has for him.
Ooh.
And she convinces him with imagery of the woman that he's been infatuated with for quite a long time, and uses the television behind, and shows himself as if he had long hair, and it's like she was using himself and his infatuation against him in order to convince him to sell his soul to her. And I guess it works because then he signs this like big ass stack of papers, and I guess he gets some wishes. So, what did you think about this whole thing, from the Big Mac to the struck deal?
Well, the Big Mac part was kind of predictable since it was very similar to what happened in the original, so everything regarding that I could pretty much see coming. But one thing I must say is I was quite impressed with the interior of her office, with all that imagery, like she had candles or something like that, which looked pretty nice aesthetically. And there was this painting of Adam and Eve and things like that. Uh, I found that rather beautiful, and yeah, her outfits in those scenes. So why? uh,
Oh yeah, the devil definitely does wear Prada, does she not?
oh yeah.
But in any case, let's see the first wish that he well, the first wish was that test wish, but he didn't realize that it counted as a wish. But the first wish in which he wishes himself is he wishes to be rich and powerful with Allison and his as his wife. So, what did you think about his first wish?
Well, I was at first I was kind of wondering where it was going, although since I had seen the original, I knew it had to go wrong one way or another. I was kind of confused why he was suddenly speaking Spanish, but then it was explained when it turned out that the devil had turned him into some drug trafficker boss or something like that, and that was supposedly how he got rich and powerful and so on. But then, since he was actually clueless of what was going on, he ended up getting in trouble with the Russian mob or something like that, if I understood correctly.
Well, he basically woke up as like a Colombian drug dealer.
Ah, Colombian, yeah.
And so the first thing that he does is, I guess, he goes and inspects the horses, and I guess the people that are that are working for him look like his coworkers. um, and he basically is called away after he realizes that his wife is taking English lessons with a young a dude named Raul. And Raul, I actually looked it up. He's played by what is his name? Rudolph Martin, which somewhere around this time he plays a version of Dracula, which wasn't too bad.
Let's just hope he didn't play a red-nosed reindeer. Okay, I'm sorry.
Well, we won't ask him, okay? But we'll just be bedazzled by his infatuation, evidently, with the non-English speaking Allison, and we'll leave it at that.
Yeah. No offense to any person named Rudolph out there, I just had to make this joke because in my novel I have a character named Rudolph, and some friends of mine kept making fun, like, is he a red-nosed reindeer or something like that? So that joke stayed in my head.
Well, I kind of didn't mind the look of Brendan Fraser as this drug cartel lord. To be honest, I mean, he woke up with a Zorro mustache, and it seemed like he was living the dream at first, but at least we thought he was. And then all of a sudden, that's when he gets the call. And he's called away because one of his workers tried to steal, and they tried to steal his product. Well, he thought he was thinking, oh, well, why would I do anything to this man who was just stealing some flour? And then he was like, oh, it's cocaine. Because he's speaking in Spanish to us all this time, so it's kind of subtitled, and that's when they say, yeah, the Russian mob is here. They're not happy with the product, and so on and so forth. And Raul has come in to take over the business. And so he ends up somehow brandishing a gun, shooting a pouch of that powder and escaping to the same helicopter that the Russian mob actually was escaping in. And the thing about the devil is that she gave him a pager to if anything were to happen, whether he was dissatisfied or not, to press 666 into the pager, and she would like get him out of there real fast or some shit.
Yeah.
And he tries to pull the pager out, and it falls.
Spudo.
What do you think about this moment?
I thought Spudo. Okay, jokes aside, I thought it was rather funny, and well, if it wasn't a comedy, it would seem rather extreme when he jumped off that helicopter in order to grab it, because if he hadn't caught it, he would have literally killed himself. Jeez. If it wasn't a comedy, that would have been kind of scary.
And so he lands on top of a car, and I guess here is where we kind of get a similar a scene, except this time she looks very sexy in one of those damn traffic police officer uniforms. And she's doing something similar to that which we saw Peter Cook do in the original 1967 version, where he also did a traffic, cop, and and this is when he starts to get mad at him, and so he next wishes to be emotionally sensitive.
Oh.
So the devil makes him so sensitive, he spends much of his time crying at how beautiful the world is. And Allison contradicts herself and says she wants to be with a man who is strong and shallow. So what did you think about this particular wish? Do you think that his wish was fulfilled?
Not quite, but I must say I found it somewhat weird because before that second wish there was that scene when the devil read Alison's journal, and it seemed like Allison really did want an emotional man and so on, and then that happens, but then suddenly apparently she doesn't want that, but she wants a different kind of man. So that didn't make much sense to me, I must say.
Well, that scene was kind of interesting to me because it actually seemed like the devil was actually trying to help him in some way, shape, or form. Because he didn't exactly wish to to get to know her thoughts any better, and yet they ended up going inside her room, and she basically was like trying to entice him to actually watch her shower, and he was like, what do you think I am, some kind of perverted creature? And she's like, yeah. It's like, okay, just give me just give me a couple of moments. Maybe I might actually just take a little peek.
Wow. If you were able to take an invisible, immaterial form, if you could be anywhere you want and know that no one can see you, wouldn't that also make you go a bit Norman Bates?
Not quite Norman Bates, because that would be more like looking at my mother in her underwear, and I don't really want to do that.
But no, I was referring to that scene when he was watching a woman in the shower.
Yeah. Well, he still wanted to be a little bit more closer to his mother's teats, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
But in any case, moving on, we have him. See, I thought this scene was kind of funny, because they changed his hairstyle every time too. This one, he kind of looked like Peter Pan a little bit. And they actually gave him some freckles or some shit, and he was really sensitive, and he just the sunset made him cry. He ended up making a song, he basically I don't know why, but it was comical a little bit. And the fact that he wore his tears, and was very proud of them. But ultimately, did he get his wish?
Not quite.
Well, yeah, he didn't get her to fall in love with him like the way that he wanted her to. In fact, she said at the end there, I just want to be totally ignored. Just so that the guy can get into my pants.
Mm, yeah, that's kind of an ironic way to portray something that technically happens in real life a lot.
And for some reason, just the fact that they were kicking sand in his mouth, and he kept trying to talk about it reasonably, and they just weren't buying that,
Yeah.
So he got mad at the devil again for that one. So instead, in his next wish, he wishes to be a superstar athlete, and the devil makes him an unstoppable 7 foot plus tall basketball star.
Oh.
So in a sense, he became a real life version of a Monstar from Space Jam.
Yeah, he looked very different in that scene. Was it even the same actor?
Yes, it definitely was. It wasn't a different actor. It was him. He actually
Wow.
is really tall in real life. If you actually ever look at him, I'm not sure how much his body was the same. They might have done something to his body, CGI, like I don't know. But this was probably the most funniest part to me, because when Allison comes in as a reporter, and he's like, "Well, I guess I better get dressed," and she's like, "I can't wait for that." And when he unwraps his towel and he realizes how small his schmeckle is, he's like, "Oh, Jesus! Oh, you fucking devil! Oh, that's not right." And she just excuses herself out of the room. Like she was waiting for him to be bigger than that, at least down there, in order to be able to perform a little bit better.
Yeah.
So, what did you think? Do you think that he got his wish there?
No.
I don't think it. I don't think so.
Once again, no.
But you gotta admit, it was kind of hilarious. I mean, to make him look like Michael Jordan, I don't know. They didn't quite do it for me entirely, but it kind of reminded me of like the animated Monstars from Space Jam, like Larry Bird's character or whatnot. Although she said Dennis Rodman before that, so his hair was like really, I don't know. But in any case, and it was kind of funny that he couldn't remember the damn number for the pager, so it was like.
Yeah, like he had all those sixes on the shelf or something like that as a reminder.
Well, and it's kind of a stereotype for that sports stars are like kind of stupid, they're all muscle, no brains, but there are some sports stars that are out there that are really fucking intelligent these days.
Well,
and
of course.
it is kind of a stereotype to think that sports people are just all that, just sports people, that all they know is basketball or football or something like that, It's not true. Some of these people have brains.
Well, of course. I mean, yeah, it is a stereotype, but when you think about it logically, it's nonsense.
It is, but there are some players that just don't have any brains. They're just pure, body fat, and that's what they put them in there for. He may not have brains, boy, but he can definitely tackle.
Yeah.
So get in there and get him. Okay, coach. So. But mindlessly ramming yourself into another man's body is not exactly spiritually enlightening for me. So I don't think I could ever fully be a sports person myself, even though I probably have the body of a football player. I really probably would not enjoy it. I may have enjoyed the paycheck if I actually thought about it, but I don't know. It is what is, and sports are sports, and guys will get all excited about sports and all that jazz, but I will not. But it is entertaining to a point. And so he gets out of that wish, and he ends up getting getting angrier and angrier at the devil, and so I guess the next wish he wishes to be intelligent, which, if you want to know something, was the first wish in the 1967
Yes.
version, whereas the first wish that he wished was in fact the third wish in the original, if I remember correctly. So they kind of used some of the same wishes that he had in the original. So he wishes to be intelligent, witty, and well endowed. So the devil grants this by making him a famous writer who was actually gay, living with a male partner. So, was this in fact what he wished?
No, it wasn't. But I must say, I have an issue with this scene because before it was revealed that he had a gay lover, there was that scene when he was with her and he was saying something. I can't remember it word by word now, but how she had beautiful skin and so on, and if he really wasn't attracted to women, he wouldn't have said those things, I suppose. So,
No, but it was still somewhat comical at the moment, and I'm not sure whether this type of joke holds well and bodes well in this day and age with the cancel culture these days, because we don't want to offend certain sensibilities of the what is it, gay society, or what the pride, I forget what they call it, the which in any case, it's uncertain whether this actually bodes well in this day and age. It's a rough subject to talk about because we all want to be free to love whoever we want, right?
well, we can be free to love whoever we want, and yeah, I absolutely support that freedom. I actually support the LGBT community a lot.
That's
But
what I was trying to think of, the LGBT community. You hit it on the nose.
Yeah, but when they say this movie didn't age well because nowadays this and that is offensive, I say to that, no, it's not a movie that didn't age well, it's society that didn't age well if they think a piece of fiction is a call for them to get offended.
I agree. Society changes like the wind, and it'll be interesting if this film actually holds up well over time to other people as well. I know that this film is funny to me, and in certain ways, not sure whether this particular scene holds well. And I hate to say something about it every single time something like this comes up, but unfortunately, society has gone that way. So it's hard not to mention it, and it's hard not to get what is it difficult to say things about it without sounding offensive, you know.
Well, I think, like I said, I'm definitely a very liberal person, and like I said, I support the LGBT community. Like I know that's people's sexual orientations are something they are born with, and they should be accepted as they are. But uh, those kinds of social issues, in my opinion, should not get in the way of people's artistic freedom. Like, if someone wants to put something in their book or movie or TV show or video game or whatever, they should be allowed to do that regardless of politics, of modern social issues or whatever. Like, it's just fiction, and let it be fiction.
I agree, just so long as you don't be groping like in front of me or anything like that, and maybe have some uh, matter of decor, some manners to be able to like do your affections like not around me, so that I'm not like thinking in my mind like I just want to get that out of my mind, that kind of thing. Because I want to be thinking about kissing my loved one at home, which is a little bit more, erotic, in my mind. But
I must say I didn't quite understand what you meant here. What is it that you don't want to see?
I don't want to see man on man groping. That's
Oh,
just, I don't want to see a man like grabbing another man's balls in front of me. That's just not cool. It's
well, in my opinion, well, okay, that's your opinion. In my opinion, if two men love each other, they can do those things. I don't mind. What I was trying to say is that situations like this should not restrict people's artistic freedom. No matter what someone wants to put in their piece of fiction, in a story that's not real, they should just be allowed to do it. And if someone doesn't like it, they don't have to watch it or read it or whatever.
and I agree with those freedoms. I just don't want to watch it. So I will probably remove myself from the equation and walk in the other direction. No offense. And that's just me. I just don't want to see it. I grew up with it being an abomination, and I guess in a sense, I still feel some of those feelings, and it will be what will be. And obviously, the society is changing. It's always got like more morals that they're piling on top of each other, and it just gets confusing. But regardless, let's move on.
Oh, okay.
So the last wish is that he wishes to be the president of the United States. Did he, in fact, get his wish?
Uh, no, and from what I understood, unless I misunderstood something, he didn't even become a president, but he got the role of a president in some uh, theater performance or
It
something
was
like that.
it was in fact a representation of Abraham Lincoln. Um, and if you know anything about him, he went to a theatrical performance and was killed by John Wilkes Booth, who was an actor on stage. He leapt off the stage, and went up some stairs and came right behind him and shot him point blank. And that was a historical event. I mean, here in the United States, it was a sad thing because he was the one who was supposedly fighting for slavery. Although a lot of people have um, problems with him being a fighter for that because he in fact owned slaves himself. But that being said, I still don't think he got his wish.
No.
I mean, he was expecting to be like the current president of the United States. He wasn't expecting to be the not yet dead one.
Indeed.
And I love how, in a way, everything that he was doing to the audience. I mean, he ended up throwing something out of his pocket down at someone in the audience, and he was bothering everyone around him. So if that was the case, and Abraham Lincoln was just throwing everything out of his pockets, it's no wonder he got shot. But in any case, it still wasn't a cool situation to find himself in. And in fact, he finally found the pager in his boot, and that's when he I guess he actually had one last wish. I said it was his last wish before that, but he actually had two, and he actually went into a church. And what do you think about this particular segment where he sat in a church and a priest walked up to him and what do you? That was kind of like a satire against religion and reality, honestly. What did this priest do?
Apparently, he called the police, although I didn't. I must say, I didn't quite understand that scene. Like,
he basically told him that he could tell him anything and he'll understand. What he said. He said, you know, and so he basically said, 3 days ago, I met the devil, and she gave me 7 wishes, yada da da da, and that's when you get see him being pulled out of the church by the cops, and he's standing in front of the sergeant. And he basically tells him the whole club thing, and they really don't believe him. They think he's drunk, so they book him, and that's when you see the devil show up and drag his ass to the jail cell.
Yeah, but I still didn't understand. Why exactly did the police come for him? What
because
crime did he commit?
the priest thought he was a nut job and a harm to himself. What person would you be able to tell that story to, and they actually believe you and not think you're a nutcase?
Well, okay, he may have seemed like a nutcase, but he didn't do anything illegal from what I saw.
No, but anyone speaking that crazy has got to be mental or something. So why not? Okay, call the cops. This man's crazy.
I don't know.
I mean, if suddenly you told me that you were speaking to angels or something like that, I'd be concerned. I would be I'd be like, uh, bro, Boris, I know I've never asked you this before, but do you think I can have your mother's number so that maybe I can talk to her? Because you're not really acting like yourself.
Yeah, but you wouldn't put me in jail.
No, I wouldn't put you in jail. I'd be like kindly concerned and be like, okay, um, maybe I can speak to someone who actually like lives with you every day, and maybe if you were like if you mentioned that you were going to kill yourself or something like that, I would definitely uh, be concerned, or
Okay,
something like that.
that's that would be an extreme situation.
Yes, it would, but it would be cause for extreme measures for me to somehow figure out who your damn parents are. But I have never needed to do that. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Uh, but know that I probably would. If suddenly I didn't hear from you, I would probably try to hunt down where your mother was, or somebody who knew you. Like, where the fuck are you?
Well, thank you for being concerned for me in such a hypothetical situation.
I'm just saying, if you sounded crazy, if you were speaking to the air or having conversations with the wall behind you or something like that, I would be concerned. So I'm not sure I would exactly call the cops, but I would definitely be concerned and be like, can I have a conversation too? I mean, I haven't exactly spoken to the wall in a while.
Oh, did this wall?
Any wall. And if it talks back to you, you'd slap it. But anyways. But
All right.
in any case, when Elliot, in fact, has a moment in the jail cell. There is a character in here that I think he might actually be possibly God in a sense, or at least a messenger of God, because he has a spiritual message for him, and he basically tells him, if you made some kind of a deal with someone for your soul, you don't really your soul is not yours to give. It's his. Uh,
Yeah,
so,
that's an interesting.
so you have no right to sell it out from under him in any way, shape, or form. And if the devil is trying to, this person is trying to tell you something different, don't believe her. It's not possible for your soul to be sold in any way, shape, or form, or at least something of that nature. And
Yeah,
that's when he gets let out and he goes back to that nightclub. And what do you think about that whole scenario afterwards, where she tries to force him into making his last wish? She goes all hell and brimstone on him. In fact, old school devil.
cool. Yeah, that was some interesting CGI there, although maybe a bit too obvious CGI. Like it was very clear that it was just an animation, but it was still pretty cool. And yeah, then we got that twist that he could get out of the whole thing by making a selfless wish. uh, which he didn't even know, but he ended up doing it.
Yep. You made the selfless wish of wishing that Allison was just happy for the rest of her life. So,
Uh,
which apparently was a deal breaker, and he went off on his own, and he was able to speak up to his co-workers, and ultimately, I guess he kind of ran into someone who a female who kind of was sort of acting exactly like he was in the beginning of the film. So, what do you think about that ending there? You said earlier that you wish that it had been done differently.
uh,
Uh,
yeah.
what do you wish would have happened?
Well, I think the ending of the first one, of the original, was a bit more fitting than this one because in the original they put emphasis on the message that you shouldn't try to be someone you're not. You should just be yourself and accept yourself the way you are. And yeah, in the original, the guy just gains the courage to ask the woman out, and it's like, okay, she would go out with him, and we will see how things go. And I thought that was a decent ending. And in this one, I kind of felt the way they changed the ending felt a bit forced to me, like they changed it for no reason other than to make it different from the original, and that kind of ruined the message that you should just be yourself, because we have this moment when he approaches Allison and he is a bit more confident than he used to be, and he asks her out, and that would have been just perfect moment for her to say, okay, let's go out, and it would have been the same ending as the original, and it would have conveyed the message that you should just that it's the best to just be yourself. But in this one it didn't end like that, but it was like Allison already had someone and he gave up on her, but apparently it was okay because he met someone who looked exactly like her, and things worked out with that person. But nah, I just thought the ending was better in the original.
I will have to kind of agree with you because the ending of the original 1967 version kind of depicted like the age old ending, like age old battle between the devil and God. You know, he goes in the original one. He goes up to heaven. It is uh, downright nasty to the gardener, and basically expects to be let into heaven because he saved dude's soul. Well, he did it for the wrong reasons,
Mm,
and then God just kind of laughs in his face.
yeah, yeah, in this version they completely omitted that whole subplot, which I think is kind of sad. Although, then again, if we did have a God character in this movie, and if his personality was the same as in the original, it would make him seem a bit sexist, since the devil is a woman here.
I also think some of the things that the devil actually did in the first film were a little bit more pronounced. The bad things that he was doing, like the part where he actually sent the bees to the swingers or whatnot. It was downright crude.
Yeah.
And the whole Peter Cook thing where he was laying next to Dudley Moore's character, and he was like, you know, your wife is very attractive. You know, I wish that she would have done something like that during the whole scenario, or or your wife is very attractive or some shit like that. I don't know. I was hoping to have it be a little bit more devilish than nicey, you know.
Yeah, although she did have quite several devilish moments here.
Yeah,
Like,
she did, but it was a little bit more nicey. I think, and I wish that it would have been wickeder, a little bit. I think it skated a little, a few things, I would have liked to have seen more from her as like more of a devilish person. I mean, I know you see it somewhat going on in the background, like the parking tickets and the making sure that the cars crash and all that jazz. But
yeah.
in any case, what did you think about the production?
Mm, I think it was pretty good. Yeah, they had some CGI, which, like I said, was maybe a bit obvious, but that was just one short moment. So, all in all, it was really good.
I think
I
there was some CGI in the basketball scene, a little bit,
mm,
when he was flying through the air or whatnot.
oh,
Other than that,
possibly.
yeah. But in any case, I thought the production was pretty good. I thought the way in which the wishes were wished was a good a good way to present this film a little bit better. I mean, this way it kind of somewhat makes it its own thing, you know. Uh, Aside from the Peter Cook and Dudley Moore adaptation, you know. Um, and yeah, so let's talk about favorite scenes. What did you think? What was one of your favorite scenes in the film? If you can take one from it.
Ooh, it's kind of difficult to choose one because I liked pretty much every scene when we got to see the devil woman. uh, but yeah, maybe. Well, I liked the scene in the office when we got to see all that nicely decorated interior and all those sexy outfits she had. And well, I also liked the one when he was in jail and when she tried to when she tried to intimidate him with her behavior. That was pretty much sexy as well. And,
Yeah, any moment with I believe um, her in it, Elizabeth Hurley in it was pretty intense and
oh yeah.
sexual. Um, Believe it or not, she actually played in Austin Powers the first two movies. Yay, British invasion for that. So,
Ooh.
have you ever seen Austin Powers?
Unfortunately, no. I'm sorry.
Oh, jeez. We'll have to cover those eventually. But
Probably.
Mike Myers really made that character. He's like the comical version of like uh, James Bond, except he's more spoof, spoof kind of. In any case, I'll have to go with the superstar basketball moment when he realizes his penis is like small. Uh,
Okay, yeah, that was funny.
that was hilarious, and it's like the whole damn thing afterwards. She's like still swearing up a storm, you know. And to me, I thought the whole Colombian drug lord thing was kind of hilarious too. The fact that when he started to speak Spanish and then he started speaking about his English or Spanish teacher and aunt's house or whatnot, and then when he realized that it was cocaine, not flour, that was kind of hilarious. It was just somewhat funny throughout that entire thing, and there are definitely some funny moments from our funny man, Brendan Fraser. So, other than that, I mean, I thought this was pretty good. I think it was a solid performance, and I didn't really have a problem with any of the scenes, even though I spoke about a possible problem. It doesn't mean that I didn't enjoy it any less or more. So I just want y'all to realize that this was a remake. A lot of people don't realize that films were actually made adapted first, and I think that the 1967 version sometimes gets left behind in in the history of films.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Let's see. What about the music? What did you think about the music involved in here?
Oh, the music was pretty good here. There were quite several actual songs aside from instrumental backgrounds, so it did have some pretty nice music.
Yep. It had Just the One I've Been Looking For, performed by Johnny Taylor. Stay a While, performed by Gary Schreiner. The Name Game, performed by Brendan Fraser. When I Get Around You, performed by Terry Rattigan. My Family, performed by Banana Oil. Wild Thing, performed by Tone Lock. Tell Me Girlfriend, performed by Miklos Malik. Frenazo, performed by Tony Phillips. Stop the Rock, performed by Apollo 440. Rust and Paprika, performed by Kurt Sobel, David Barrett, and Gary Schreiner. Bem Bem Maria, performed by the Gypsy Kings. Mi Amor, performed by Martin Blasik and Javier Torres Mosley. DJ Girl Around the World, performed by Catalina. Dolphin Song, performed by Brendan Fraser. That was during the Beach Bum thing. The sensitive guy. Virtual Beat Ritual, performed by Meeks. Don't Want to Hear About Love, performed by Katie Mack. The Way She Was, performed by Dave Hansen. Rock and Roll Part 2, performed by Gary Glitter. Get Ready for This, performed by Two Unlimited. Tribal Dance, performed by Two Unlimited. Bring Your Lovin', performed by Robert D. Hanna. To Beat or Not To Beat by Kurt Sobel and Gary Schreiner. Marching Through Georgia, arranged by George Wilson. Macambo, performed by Jeffrey Oriema. Change Your Mind, performed by Sister Hazel. Meena Devi, performed by Tulku. Strange Disease, performed by Prozac. And Hail to the Chief, written by James Sanderson. So, other than that, I think that's pretty much it. Unless you have anything else to add to this film.
Well, I think I have mentioned everything I was going to say. I have praised the devil character as much as I could, probably.
Oh yeah, sexy. Ooh la la. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She's definitely a dame. In any case, hopefully you enjoyed our discussion, ladies and gentlemen. And you just give this film a one-time watch for us, and let us know down in the comments whether you thought and enjoyed the film yourselves. And it was just entertaining to talk through and to share our thoughts on the film as we went along. So, in any
Indeed.
case, thank you for listening. Have a great day, evening, and morning wherever you are, and don't go selling your soul anytime soon. Just for us, um, even if the devil looks as sexy as she did.
Yeah.